Welcome back, beautiful and amazing people. Dr. Genzo here with another duel video for you. Today we got a real treat, real niche decks. Well, one real niche deck and one that's kind of under the radar for some people, but it's still a threat in the meta nonetheless. We have FLOOWANDEREEZE, or FLOOWANDEREEZE, however you want to pronounce it, versus EXOSISTERS. This is going to be pre-Dimension Force, which actually the sneak peek is this weekend, so stay tuned. I might have some videos coming up on that. But now we're going to have the EXOSISTER player, which is actually me, starting off here. You'll see some misplays. I apologize for that. Possibly, maybe not. It all depends. But I'm going to start us off here with a Michaelis detaching to search for any EXOSISTER spell trap. Now you'll notice that the EXOSISTER stuff actually went up a little bit recently because they're getting those new cards in Dimension Force. Very good cards, I might add. The pink hair one that special summons itself and specials from the deck, which is just the amount of extension that EXOSISTER is needed on top of a nice trap and another nice Xyz monster, which I don't really like the Xyz monster because it's kind of a F-Zero Draco type situation, but maybe with EXOSISTER Armament or something, if you can summon it with that, it might be okay. But yeah, right now we're playing EXOSISTERs with some of the Joker stuff, so to get a really good inboard here, but as you see we didn't really draw any of that, so we're just going to set 4 and pass with a Michaelis on the field. Michaelis' one big weakness is that she can't banish the turn, unless she can't use her banish effect unless it's the turn that she's summoned, which is a bit unfortunate, but at the same time, it make her kind of a bit crazy OP, just be a generic rank 4 with that. She'd be a staple if she just had that effect, regardless, especially because she's a generic rank 4. But FLOOWANDEREEZE is going to start us off now with activating the magnificent map. You'll notice here that that map is very central to the deck. It definitely helps him get his combo going as he reveals a level 1 to banish another one from the deck. It also basically locks your opponent out of normal summoning, because once they normal summon, you're basically just off to the races with that map on the field. And that map is very easy to get to hand in this deck, because you have search spells, you have the new quick play spell that searches it, you have Pot of Extrav, you have Pot of Duality. You basically, the amount of search power and draw power in the deck is just unparalleled. But it looks like Imperm is going to be activated in regards to the FLOOWANDEREEZE card that he normal summoned off the effect of the map, because the map also lets him get a normal summon right after he uses the effect to banish, and the banish card will then be added back to his hand off its own effect once you normal summon a card. And now you'll see here that Pot of Duality, the deck does not special summon at all, so it can run a lot of those cards, a lot of those powerful cards that lock you out of special summoning as a restriction due to their power. But since the power isn't really, since you don't really special summon, you can just have all that power with none of the drawbacks, really, because the deck just loves to normal summon. Now you'll notice that the Imperm was activated on the FLOOWANDEREEZE card, because this deck, you really have to stop it early. They really can't handle an Ash Blossom, they can't handle a lot of hand traps, and they can't handle a lot of negations, so you gotta be careful with the deck, and you gotta be careful with what you negate and how you negate it, and you definitely want to get it under control early, or else they're just going to pop off, go Ryza, go Barrier Statue, go a lot of other stuff, because again, it's just normal summon city, so they're going to get their Impin out, and they're basically just going to floodgate you really early. Looks like a Droplet is not going to be activated, and seeing what I want to send for cost off the Droplet, and looks like we're going to send the Michaelis, so you cannot chain any monster effects to negate the Rabina. Again, trying to stop the deck early, because once that snowball starts rolling, it's really hard to stop it from rolling down that hill. But it looks like we're just going to take 1,000 damage from those little ones, and let's see if we can do anything here without normal summoning. Drawing for turn now, and yes. Now you'll notice my playstyle here is very much trying to not normal summon so he doesn't get the effect of the map, because again, him getting to summon on your turn is pretty crazy. So EXOSISTER Vadis is going to cost 800 life points to activate. It's going to summon 2 from the deck that mention each other. Going to go into an EXOSISTER Irene and an EXOSISTER Sophia here. And again, you notice that not really normal summoning here, because the map only procs on normal summon. So if you special summon from the deck or you special summon from the hand, it does not get its effect to let him normal summon as well, which is a very powerful effect right now. Sophia is going to let me draw a card and then add 800 life points since I control EXOSISTER Irene. Then Irene's also going to let me take a card from my hand, put it on the bottom, and draw a card if I want. Well, it has to be an EXOSISTER card from the hand. Looks like Irene is going to then be activated, putting another Sophia back and drawing a card. Let's see if that helps. Looks like drew another Vada, so that'll definitely help us if he somehow breaks the board here, because of the fact, again, we don't want a normal summon right now. Going into another EXOSISTER Michaelis here. Michaelis, very big powerhouse of the deck, and is very good. Now we're going to chain its own effect to its summon, and then Call by the Grave is going to be chained targeting the other Michaelis in the grave, trying to banish that map as soon as we can. That was one of the big misplays here on my part. I should have done the search effect first to search for Spell Trap, and then use the banish effect afterwards, once he chained the banish effect to the Call by, once he tried to negate the search effect with the Call by there. That way the map would be off the board, because you do not want that thing being there, especially when you're playing against FLOOWANDEREEZE. Looks like that Call by is definitely going to negate that Michaelis, and Michaelis just sitting there, basically just dead in the water there. Let's see if there's anything we can do about that. Going into battle phase now. Looks like we're going to attempt to swing over one of the FLOOWANDEREEZE there. Looks like we're going to swing over the Stree. And luckily that Impin is not on the board yet, because the Impin would definitely be an issue there. So it looks like he's going to take 1800 off that attack. And we're back up to 7,800 despite paying 800 life points. Going to set another card, and looks like we're just going to have to pass the turn on that one, folks. Let's see if the FLOOWANDEREEZE can get his ball rolling once again, or if there's more negates in his future. Drawing for turn on the FLOOWANDEREEZE player's side now. And looks like he does have that Pot of Extrav that he got off the Pot of Duality there. And looks like he's just going to let me banish some 6 cards there. Just decided to be a little cheeky. 5 off the top and then do 1 off the bottom just to be a little cheeky. A little cheeky there. A little fun times. Getting that free draw too. And again, he doesn't care about his extra deck because he doesn't special. And he doesn't care about any of the restrictions really on Pot of Extrav or Pot of Duality. So let's see what happens here with the Magnificent Map being activated once again, revealing a Rabina to banish from the deck. Looks like he's probably going to try and search that Eaglin here. That's the only one he's missing. No, he's actually going for the Tokan. Apologies. And then the Rabina's getting normal summon. Chain Link 1 on the Rabina, Chain Link 2 on the Tokan. Nice Ash Blossom chain blocking there, which is another really big power of the FLOOWANDEREEZE deck right now, is the ability to basically chain block hand traps. And also getting that barrier statue out for basically free, which is really nice. Getting that extra normal summon off the Rabina. If their effects go off, you get an extra normal summon, which is really nice. So it looks like he did have the Eaglin in his hand, and it looks like the Eaglin's going to let him search for level 7 or higher here if there is no negation. Looks like there are no negates right now, so it looks like he's going to get that Impin out on the board right now. Happy Feet, Furious Fists, as he goes into the Impin. Impin's going to let him search a spell or trap. And it also basically locks out special summon monsters from activating their effects if they're summoned in attack mode, I believe. And it also basically just lets him run over a bunch of stuff, and it's 2,700 already. And he can banish something from the hand to half the attack of whatever he's attacking. So it's pretty nuts. It's a pretty nutty card, especially in combination with a lot of the other FLOOWANDEREEZE stuff. So grabbing a Dreaming Town, which will let him tribute or normal summon on my turn. And then Impin's going to let him get an extra normal summon. Looks like he's going to go for that barrier statue. Again, just all these floodgates. FLOOWANDEREEZE just loves to put out those floodgates and just lock the opponent out of doing basically anything. Swinging with the Impin and then using the effect to banish the Tokan from his hand to have the attack of the Michaelis. Barrier statue is going to swing in now, as well as the Rabina for another 1,600 damage. Again, not the biggest cards except for Impin, but very, very good floodgates, especially if you don't have the answer in your deck. Throwing an Ash Blossom there, that would have been helpful last turn for sure. Looks like we're going to go to game 2 here. Alright folks, here we are in game 2. Looks like we drew one of the Joker cards that we didn't want to draw, especially. But as you'll see here, it does lead to some funny shenanigans in this game. I do remember this game, I remember very clearly, and it's very funny. Especially with some of the cards that I cited in, which you will see here. So it looks like we're going to see what we can do here. We drew an EXOSISTER Stella, which isn't really conducive with our hand right now, and it looks like we're just going to set a Queen's Knight and pass the turn, because FLOOWANDEREEZE aren't that big except for Impin, so let's see if he can play through some of the negates here and kill that Queen's Knight. Pod Duality being activated now. Again, just that recursion is not recursion, but consistency is crazy, being able to basically just search your deck with like 9 pots. You can just run as many pots as you want in the deck. It's really no biggie. Also, being able to play stuff like Dimension Shifter, Macrocosmos, and everything just makes the deck super strong and super scary to a lot of people. Activating the map again, having that map, man, it's really good for the deck. And the deck can still run without it. It's just not going to be as, it won't be able to play through as many hand traps if you don't have it. Because that extra normal summon it gives you is just pretty crazy. So it looks like the Rabina is going to be activated on summon. Let's see if we can negate it here. Imperm is going to be chained to try and negate it. Give you guys a response here, and looks like a red reboot is going to be activated. First the call by, and now the red reboot, man. It's crazy, man. So paying half his life to basically reset the Imperm and setting a trap from the deck, but I cannot activate any more traps for the rest of the turn, which is basically all I set. So we're just praying on that Queen's Knight being able to get through here. Red Reboot, very powerful card. It's a 1 for a reason. Especially against new decks coming out like Labyrinth, old decks like Altergeist, etc., etc. Setting an Exosister Vadis from the deck and then resetting that Imperm, because I keep forgetting that that's the effect of Red Reboot, since it doesn't really, I haven't really used it much and it's not really been activated on me too much. Adding a Bear Statue of the Stormwinds off that that Rabina search there, because Eaglin's the only one that searches Impin, which he is now going to normal summon that Eaglin and try to get his Impin search right off the bat here. Let's see what happens. Activating a Forbidden Droplet now, since it is not a trap, so Red Reboot doesn't affect that. And we're going to send that Stella from our hand to the grave in order to negate that Eaglin, because again, we want to stop this deck early. He still has one extra normal summon. He still has his normal summon for the turn in his pocket, but at the same time, it's definitely not an Impin that we need to be worrying about now. Looks like he's now going to summon Bear Statue of the Stormwinds off that, off his normal summon for the turn. And it looks like he's going to swing, and it looks like he's going to take 600 off that Queen's Knight. Being flipped, 1600 defense, biggest defense out of all the Exosister deck right there, aside from like Joker's Knight and stuff like that. It is definitely a good engine to play in the deck if you don't draw a lot of it, which I was doing a lot this day, so it's a bit unfortunate, but it actually worked out in this circumstance. So looks like he's just going to set one and pass the turn here. Let's see, we drew an Exosister Pax, and let's see if we can't solve this problem with the Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. Looks like Imperm is not going to be activated to negate that Barrier Statue of the Stormwind since it was reset off the Red Reboot. Now Exosister Vadis is going to be activated. Ash is going to be chained to that. She's over there going to say no to that, so we don't get a summon from the deck after paying a whole whopping 800 life points just for nothing there, folks. We should have activated that Pax in our hand before activating the Vadis, but we were a little bit excited after negating that Barrier Statue. But it is what it is. That search can definitely save us some future headaches later. But again, we don't want a normal summon because of that map. So we can search an Exosister monster and try to overlay, which we are going to activate Pax and try to search something. So we can search an Exosister monster and normal summon and try to overlay, but again, that'll just lead to him getting a bunch of normal summons off the map, or we can search for any Exosister card, which we're going to try and set up next turn with another Exosister Vadis, so we don't have to normal summon. We can just special summon 2 from the deck, so we can overlay with those as opposed to just normal summoning. Because we do still have one face down, and it looks like he doesn't really have access to his Ryza quite yet. Setting that Vadis in that spot that we just put it in, and let's see if he has any out to this Queen's Knight, or if we can just stall and wait a turn. Putting the Queen's Knight in attack mode, tending to swing over the Bear Statue so it's not a headache for later. Book of Mooning, nice play there, putting the Queen's Knight back face down. One wonders though why he didn't use it on the droplet earlier with the Eaglin, why he didn't just book his own Eaglin, but again, might have been a misplay or might have been calculated, since it did save him the headache of having that Queen's Knight kill his statue. So we'll see, as map is now being activated once again, revealing the Rabina in his hand, banishing the Eaglin. He really wants that Impin out of his decks, folks, and let's just see if he will get it, because that Rabina is going to let him search, and then he's going to be able to normal summon again. Looks like he's going to be able to normal summon that Eaglin. And that Eagle's going to let him get an Impin or a Ryza or whatever he wants. Really, that's really high level. Looks like he's going to get the Impin. And allow him to normal summon once again, which will allow him to normal summon that Impin. A lot of normal summoning in this deck, folks. Contributing 2 to normal summon that Impin. The Impin's going to let him search for Spell Trap on summon, and then let him get an extra normal summon after that. Once their effects resolve, they do get an extra normal summon, and he's going to be able to add from his banish zone. Again, that Ash block is just very, very good. So he's going to add the Dreaming Town, letting him tribute summon on my turn. Or normal summon on my turn, my apologies. So whether we normal summon or not with the map on the board, he'll still be able to get that normal summon on my turn. Swinging into the Queen's Knight, and a Mirror Force is going to be activated. Mirror Force, very good counter against FLOOWANDEREEZE right there. Just kind of a funny card that I put in the side deck there. No one really expects it, especially this format. And Mirror Force just very powerful against that deck because they have to normal summon everything. So everything's going to be in attack mode. Whenever they attack, everything just goes bye-bye. And you don't want to stick them on that board with all those floodgates. So the Impin's gone, the Bear Statue's gone, all the headaches are gone. And let's see if we can't pull this out. That Mirror Force, very strong Mirror Force right there. So activating Bodice in the standby here, looks like. Using Sophia's effect now to draw a card, and then I'll gain 8 because of Irene being on the field. Let's see if we want to use Irene's effect now to put something back into the deck, or if our hand is just too good to do that with, basically. And it looks like we're going to opt not to use Irene here, folks. Looks like we have just the right amount of extension in our hand to try and pull this out. So Queen's Knight's going to be flip summoned. And looks like EXOSISTER Ellis is going to be activated in the hand. If you control an EXOSISTER, you can special her, which is really, really nice. You saw that game 1. So looks like Sophia and Irene are going to be overlaid on top of each other. We're going to go into Michaelis here. Not going to repeat mistakes of the past. We're going to use our search effect first before we use the banish effect. And let's see if we can pull this out. Searching now for an EXOSISTER Arment. I believe this was probably a misplay on my part here. Should have went with the Pax. Pax grabbed Stella. Then special summon the Stella, so we have a little extra damage on board. Because we are locked into EXOSISTERs from the extra deck. Now changing to the resolution of her own effect, Michaelis is going to attempt to banish the map. The map is now gone, which means we are live to normal summon once again, which is another reason why I should have grabbed the Pax there, folks. Or it looks like I already have the Pax in hand, maybe. It was a while since I picked up this deck last, so bear with me here, folks. As we go into an EXOSISTER Cast Patel, using her effect now on summon to basically lock us out of special summoning from the graveyard for the rest of the turn. And then she also detaches to search a monster, so maybe that Pax not being activated is a good thing. Oh, it's a Joker Straight we have in hand, not a Pax, my apologies. Joker Straight, very powerful card, very good card, especially if you're into Exeasing. Optimal hand with this deck would be one EXOSISTER, a Joker Straight, and a Joker's Knight. And then if you play it right and they have no interrupts, you can end on a F-Zero Draco, one EXOSISTER to Exe summon if they move anything out of the grave, 2 set back row, and a Pleiades because of the Joker's Knight, which is great. Now it looks like he's going to activate the Dreaming Town on the activation of Cast Patel there, or on the resolution of Cast Patel. Looks like we're going to add a Stella to hand. And looks like he's going to try and normal summon on our turn. Looks like he's going to go into a Stree. Stree's going to let him grab a banished FLOOWANDEREEZE card and then let him get that extra normal summon. But he has to banish a card out of his grave first. And since we don't have any of the main deck EXOSISTERs on the board, they can't overlay on top of themselves with that effect banishing a card out the grave. It's one of the weaknesses of the deck and one of the reasons why the new cards are just incredible for the deck, because the pink hair girl says if either player moves a card out the grave, not just your opponent. So if you move a card out the grave, you can overlay on top of her, as well as she provides extension for the deck, which is amazing. Looks like he's going to give that Eaglin and add a Mist Valley Apex Avian, which is kind of interesting there. And then he's going to normal summon a Tokon. Tokon is going to let him add a card as well. Again, just very consistent here with the deck. The deck is very control-y, it is very grindy. And if you don't stop it, they can end on a... They're basically going to have a next turn. They're not top decking at all with this deck, really, unless you play it just right and negate just the right things. Looks like he's going to tribute 2 now to go into an Impin once again. Impin's going to let him get a spell or trap. I think what spell or trap he's going to go for here, I think we both know. Or I think we all know here, folks. And taking into consideration, this is still my turn. This is not his turn. So it looks like that he is not going to actually grab any spell or trap here. Looks like he's just going to leave that Impin on the board as is. Realizing that you can't go anything but Exosisters because you activated Bodice this turn. So, seeing if there's any way out of this situation, because that Impin is very, very strong. Swinging with the Michaelis in battle phase, now swinging over the Eaglin just a little bit for that extra damage. He is only at 1700 life now. So you're going to just set 2 and pass the turn there, folks. FLOOWANDEREEZE going to draw. Let's see if he can pull this out. He is sitting on 1 Impin currently, but he does have a hand chock full of stuff that can turn this game around for him. Again, let it not be said that a FLOOWANDEREEZE player is lacking a hand. That is for sure. And looks like Extra is going to be activated in the main phase. We're just going to banish 6 right off the top of the extra deck. It doesn't matter. We're not really playing for our extra deck here with FLOOWANDEREEZE, folks. And looks like Robina's going to be normal summoned after that. And let's see if that search effect's going to go off after the Eagle and adds itself back to hand. His deck looking a little thin there from all the searching, because you do have to search in order to get that normal summon. So if you can also grind the game out longer than they can and run them out of resources in their deck, then they won't be able to operate. But that's usually not the case with FLOOWANDEREEZE. Usually they have a way to recycle and ways to put stuff back. Now Tokon being summoned, adding back the magical map, or the marvelous map, my apologies. And again, that map back in the hand, that's going to let him do a good amount of stuff here as he normal summons a FLOOWANDEREEZE and Snowl. Starlight rare, the flex there for sure. Snowl, very not as good as Eaglin, but it's still a powerful card in its own right, especially with its attack being as high as it is. And activating the marvelous or magnificent map now. Just that alliteration is getting me here, folks. I apologize. But yes, the map being activated now. Again, just locking us out of normal summoning because we're going to be scared to, because if we normal summon, his turn turns into our turn. Or our turn turns into his turn. My apologies. Again, ooh, gosh. Diarrhea of the mouth there, folks. My apologies. But yes, looks like he's going to attempt to swing into Caspatel there first. Very smart move because we have the Arment there. And the Arment's not going to let us go into a second Michaelis as long as we have a Michaelis on the board there. So he's going to swing into Caspatel first. He knows the deck. He's actually, this Austin, he actually played EXOSISTER, so he knows what they all do. So he knows how dangerous that Arment can be if he leaves that Caspatel on the board in order for us to go into another Michaelis in order to banish stuff. He doesn't really want that to happen because banishing his map or his Impin will greatly diminish his chances of winning this matchup here, as he goes with the Impin swinging into the Michaelis, but not banishing anything in his hand to have its attack, which is going to be a very interesting choice here. But it looks like he wants to save that hand just in case we break the board once again. That Michaelis is now going to be blown up by the Impin in battle, and we're going to take another 200 damage, 1700 to 56, and he's got a pretty good lock on the board right now with Snowl and Impin. Impin's just a good lock in and of itself, but we also know he still has some tricks up his sleeve in his hand, and let's see if he can do anything. Looks like he's going to set a bluff there with that Extrav, but we don't know it's an Extrav. It could be another Dreaming Town, and it could be something else. We just don't know. Looks like we drew a Sophia there. We're going to have to normal summon now with that Stella in order to do anything. That's going to let him basically turn our turn into his. So we're going to have to be very careful with how we play this. Normal summoning the EXOSISTER Stella now. The magical map's going to be chained to it. To normal summon a Stree. Stree is going to activate to target the Tokon to add it back to hand by banishing a card out the grave. He's going to banish this Pot of Extravagance. And that'll activate the effect of EXOSISTER Stella, which is very, very good for us in this situation. So EXOSISTER Stella is going to activate once he gets his extra normal summon off Stree, because that effect has to resolve first. So it looks like he's going to summon a Tokon. Tokon's going to let him add, but first we get to Exes on top of Stella. Michaelis is going to be our best bet here because she lets us banish a card. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. Going to go into Michaelis. Michaelis is going to let us banish a card on the turn that she's summoned, which is nice. Also let us search as well. It looks like he's going to add back with the Tokon, and the Tokon is going to let him tribute to normal summon. Looks like he's going to normal summon Miss Valley Apex Avion. We're going to summon that Michaelis in defense mode, by the way, because of the input. We just forgot about that for a little bit. Apex Avion is going to make sure we can't use that Michaelis effect to banish his map or his inpin, which is going to be very, very frustrating in the long run. Tip of the hat there. Looks like we're going to attempt to use Michaelis here, and the Miss Valley Apex Avion is going to negate and destroy it. And let's see if there's any way we can get through this. Nope. That'll be it. FLOOWANDEREEZE, take the match.